Hi guys, this is a Monday Focus race. I'm conscious not to waffle too much because I do enough of that in the actual preview of the race. So yeah, I'm still working through the gremlins, trying to find the best way of getting this out to you. Went a bit sideways when I tried to put the race up on the video. I realised that I turned it so I could sort of explain what I saw in one of the races, but it's on the other way around. I don't know how to change that, so you have to bear with me on the technical aspect. Still getting to grips with the videos. The quality I don't think is really up to YouTube's standard. People have a lot better way of doing it, so maybe something I'll look at in the future, but just wanted to get the video out there. Have a good day. Hi guys, this is going to be my focus race today, and just to sort of talk you through how basically I've got to the selections that I've put up on the channel. Now, Sophia Starlight won this last year off a 9-6 on the soft ground with only 6 runners in it, and won quite convincingly. So I wouldn't want to put anyone off of that, so I'm just going to show you. It's got 7 wins out of 29, 3 seconds, 3 thirds, as you can see at the top. Now that means basically it's placed in 13 out of its 29 runs, which is not a mean feat at all. Now this is the one it won last year, off of 9-12, so actually it's a bit down a bit more than I thought. And the horses it came across, they just haven't really gone on. Ooh, I think today's got a slightly better field. That's the angle I'm sort of going at. That one's obviously quite a nice horse, so maybe Sophia's Starlight's got room for improvement. That was off a very low weight though. So yeah, that's last year's race, and I do think it'll go well. But what I'm looking at is to find some value in the race. Now, no disrespect to Oliver Shamans, but I do prefer the other jockey that was riding it last year. But that's just personal, and maybe it's because I do a lot of Carl Birch horses, and he tends to be his young apprentice that he puts on a lot of his horses. So as I went through the card last night, Love and Apprentice was, I think it was around 11-1 that you could get on it. Obviously the price is dropping more to the expected price now. This one's run considerably well, with the ease in the ground. So as you can see some of these results here, you can see all this yourself, but I just thought the jockey booking of D'Souza was quite interesting for today. So as if that's gone. So it's only have 11 runs. It's won 2 of them, placed in the other in 4. So yet again, if you look at percentage wise, more of half its race it's placed, and it's also double the price of the favourite. Now when Hector's rode it before, it's won over the 6 furlongs off of 9-8. Granted, remember this is the class 5 race. Hector's again is one of the jockeys that I quite like to follow. So this race it won. I'm just going to quickly show you the replay of this one, because although it was a class 5, it won with so much extra. It really is a bit of an eye catcher really. So we'll have a look at this one.
Set.
So
And
like
they're
a very
away.
similar data today.
And
I'm going to fast forward more towards the end of the race.
The hoop sleeves, the Thames Lady, followed by Fiorella Princess and Sweet Sonata, and then back in the field to Tuffley, and finally Spiritualism, entering the final quarter mile, and Loving Apprentice.
Go a bit further on. Here it goes, look. Starting to come up the rail
Now inside the final furlong. Loving Apprentice is kicking right away. In fact, Loving Apprentice by 4 or 5 lengths, maybe 6 now to Havana Kila, and it's winning, doing handsprings. Loving Apprentice, a very impressive winner. Havana Kila in second, Sweet Sonata in third, Rogue Dancer for fourth.
Definitely worth a look, especially at well, it was double figures, like I say, but not now. Now the other one that caught my eye in today's race is the one with Joanna Mason on. So I'm not gonna lie, not particularly. I find Joanna Mason, she can run some outstanding races, and then some I just have to question the desire to win. But this one's now at 16s. I expect it to drift out, which would give me more interest in it. I mean, it's forecast to go off at 12s, but if it's drifting, it's definitely one for the best odds guaranteed. It's likely to get bigger because it's such a good favourite in here. I mean, Sophia's Starlight to me is just a bit short for me to be taking. I'd take it as a win, but definitely not as an each way. So if you look at this one that caught my eye, obviously it's over in France. It's clearly travelled on the softer ground, which I think we're going to get today. And then you think, well, it's finished 14th of 19 at Ascot, but it was a good Class 2 race. And again, if you look at some of the horses in there, there's some names that that have caught your eye in races, and you got to remember it went off at this look. That was Jungle Drums, which is another one that's I'm going to show you. This is obviously one that I've tracked from this race. And this one went on to win a Class 4 the other day. So I was tracking it, and then that one came on in look at 80 to 1. Granted, I only had about 0.25 each way as a single on it. Didn't put it up on the channel, bit annoyed with myself that I hadn't. But yeah, Jungle Drums has gone on to win since this race, and that's not a million miles away, look, from where this one was. So although it's finished right down the order, sometimes it doesn't give you the full picture, and it's worth looking over how the race has gone on. So yeah, that for me was just a bit of an insight and a focus on to why I've selected a couple of the runners that I have today at bigger prices, which on paper it might look like it hasn't got a chance, but all I'm saying is don't be put off by a price. If it's one that you fancy, what I found is if you've seen it run, you've had what would catch my eyes when I've got tracked horses that have run in the same race, and it's pretty much one that's caught my eye as a race that's got some high class fillies in it. So that's sort of the logic that I tend to go with, and it's nice when you find these big prices. Today might not be the day for it, don't get me wrong, but I definitely think at 16s, to me, it shows by far the most value in the race, and that's really where the video came about for me. It's definitely a progressive 3-year-old, and again, same as Loving Apprentice, it's definitely one that's going to improve, and I think will run above the class that it's currently in. Yeah, there's just nice pedigrees to him as well. I mean, this is a braided breath, breeding. We've seen how well some of them ran at the weekend. So yeah, that was it really. I just wanted to give you an insight into my logic, and I'll also add a couple of extra bets on this one that I've gone for very small reverse forecast, reverse dry cast on them three, and they're the ones that after looking through, I'm not going to talk you through every horse because you can make an argument for every horse. At the end of the day, the trainers are, I would say 80% of the trainers have actually entered a horse that they believe can win. So for someone to sit there and say, well, you can't say that's going to win. I mean, you've only got to look at the weekend when you've got 200 to 1 and 100 to 1 big winners coming in. I mean, you look at Richard Fahey all year, he's not really, his horses have been there or thereabouts, but not really delivered. But he delivered on a big 100 to 1 at the weekend. So yeah, just be mindful of that. And if you're having a punt today, good luck to everyone. And I hope you have a really nice day. I've got some more selections, but I'm just conscious for the channel to not flood it with all of it, because obviously I do a lot of spread betting. That's the way I work. I try and find value throughout the day on multiple races. Sometimes I'll follow the market. If there's one that I've earmarked earlier in the day, but it's 8 to 1, but then throughout the day as the prices change, it goes out to 16s plus, then if I've earmarked it, I'll go back over it and look at it, and if I still like it, then it's 16s. I'll probably have a little each way on it. And it's a bit like yesterday with the football. If you'd watched my Super Sunday, when the team, obviously you're putting that on before you've seen what teams are announced and everything else, and when I looked over the prices closer to kick-off, I'd put a lot of ones in a free £1 bet builder, which I just chuck them and just see how they go. But there was some good odds in there that I mentioned, like the Van Dijk one, for example, was one that I mentioned in the video. For Van Dijk to have a shot on target was like over 2 to 1, which just meant a header, and obviously that came in. So there's quite a lot of them sort of bets where you're looking for value in that market. I also then looked at later on at the prices for goal scorers later in the day. Because we'd not been overly successful, I wasn't going to be putting any more bets up on the channel, because you're at the risk of sort of just looking like you're chasing, but it's not, and I will never chase. What I would say to you is, it's all about finding the value. That's the most important thing. So yesterday I had a couple of pound on Mr. Slabhead owed Maguire to score, just because if it's corner, he's always there, isn't he? And that came in. I think £2 returned. It was a silly amount anyway, but yeah, he that came in. I also had £2 on Van Dijk to score, which didn't happen, but again, at the price it was similar to Maguire, and I think, well, at a corner these guys are always a threat. Now, the other one that was worth looking at was Fernandez to score or assist. With him being the corner taker, takes some free kicks. Again, it's something that's worth bearing in mind for, especially for bet builders. So people that take corners, taking free kicks, they can get an assist just from someone editing it in the goal. So that's another market also to keep an eye on. But yeah, this one, sorry, that was just, I'm rambling on about another bet now, but that's my logic, is try and find the value, put up the horses, stick with your horses that you think. This is like completely unexposed. I could have completely read the race wrong, but it's won some decent events in France, in its maiden stakes. Granted only 3 to 1, but you got to look at the prize money that it's pulled from that. So they're obviously it's obviously a good standard of horse. It just looks big at 16s to 1. So we'll see how the day goes, and I've put my selections up, so welcome to like them and all that jive. Hopefully we can find some value today. Right, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Sorry to have rattled on a bit, but just thought it was worth a mention, discussing the importance of finding value, and that's what basically what I look at. Right, take care, have a good day. Right, I've done enough waffling in that bit, so to break it down simply, on Woomill, I've looked at a boost today. I've put £10 on the football boost, Jar Bowen or Thiago to assist or score. I think the bet is. I think £10 shows value to return the £20. The two that I already had shortlisted to put in some sort of bet builder, but again it'll be on depending on how the day goes. So I'm going to use that as my base, stick a tenner on that. Again, looking at value. I've also then gone with the selection. I've had this one. I've had it as a single and an each way, so you're getting the 4 places on Woomill. So I put the majority of the money on 4 places. So I've had £3 each way at 4 places, £2 each way at 3 places, and then something like an 85p on a single. So it's a Monday, we're keeping it simple, staking £20, and that's in the focus race for today. I hope that helps you all. If you choose to like and subscribe, if not, nothing else, use it as a tracker. Bye.